Let's stick with Germany, shall we? 29.4%. That is the initial figure we've got to get a sense of how many people are turning out. And look, why does this matter? This goes back to that question of who cares? Because it's very easy for politicians, isn't it, to get really excited about elections, and journalists too. They're guilty about getting excited about elections as well. Why does it matter? Well, this gives you a sense of how many people across the continent care. This is a map. We're updating it in real time. It shows you where people have turned out. The darker the colour, the more people have turned out. And where it's white, these big blotches here, like, for example, the United Kingdom, we don't know any numbers yet. These are just the provisional numbers, but they give you a bit of a sense. You can see the darker the colours, the better they do. One country you can't really see there because of its size had a whopping turnout. According to the department, according to the Maltese authorities, they are at 70% voter turnout. And could you imagine seeing 70% of people turning out in some countries in the European Union? I can't, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But 70% in Malta, really significant there. They have, there's been a lot of corruption scandals going on. Each of the main parties accusing each other of that. So it's been a bit of a messy election in that sense. But people have certainly gone out voting. Well, let's look to France. We've heard a lot about Emmanuel Macron, the man who was presented by many people as the man to save Europe, or at least to continue on the work of Angela Merkel when she might step down. Well, look at this. Has he excited France? Has France been excited? Well, the numbers are at 43.29%. That is 10% above where those numbers were in 2009. All of this information, by the way, you can go and check it out. All the countries are tweeting this information direct to you, to us, on social media. So those two countries there got quite good figures. Who's not maybe that bothered about the elections if you're looking at the turnout? Well, let's just turn then to our two lowest ones, and we're starting there in Slovenia. 8.85% voter turnout. I mean, that is staggeringly low. Slovenia, is worth saying, has historically low numbers for EU election turnout, but 8.85. Compare that to Malta, compare that even to France. And then, well, let's move on, if we might, to Croatia, the second youngest member of the European nations, European family of nations that is the EU. 9.93%. Now, while that's above 2014, which was 7.64, you can still see trailing under 10% voter turnout. So when we go back to our map of who cares, well, voter turnout, I suppose you could say, is a way of seeing how engaged people across the continent have been with these elections. These numbers are provisional at this stage, Isabel, but it's worth not just looking at the results, but also how many people turned up in individual countries to cast their ballot. And that is something we'll be doing in theCUBE. So join us, join the conversation at any time. You can let us know. We'll be here all the way through the night using #theCUBE.